Hey guys, and welcome to another podcast from the Idiots with Internet.
Hello. How you doing? It's Pat here with AJ, and we're doing a nice little podcast. We got a conversation we were having off air, and just figured it was going to be something good, so we're going to continue along right now. Uh, AJ, I've recently been getting back into some Magic the Gathering trading card game stuff. I know this is something that we both enjoyed a whole lot in our younger days, and uh, being the big nerd that I am, we're picking it up here in my older days as well. Uh, have you been playing any Magic the Gathering lately?
I haven't, it's been a really long time, but now that you've talked about it and we've been talking a bit off air, it's something that's, you know, it's getting my pecker hard.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely changed a whole lot. They didn't stop printing just because we stopped playing, so
Yeah,
it was definitely interesting getting back in, seeing all sorts of different formats of play, all sorts of different cards, series had gone by that I just was no part of. So it was definitely a interesting experience. You know, cold water back in the pool when I jumped in.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be the same way for me, like when I jump back in.
When was the last time you had any decks? When was the last time you played a game of Magic?
Wow. Shit. I think. Well, my house burned in 2011, and that's when my cards got all fucked up. Same with my brother. So I reckon within maybe the last maybe 2 years before my house burned or a year before it burned, we played. Maybe I might have played with you, like randomly. Like we just kind of like get a bottle of Burnett's and just fucking
Yep.
play some
Yeah.
and maybe have Seeger over or something, my neighbor, and play. But yeah, like that's I think that last time. Yeah, it's been 10 years, maybe more.
Oh man, that's wild. Yeah, we used to have
I think
long nights.
the last
Uh,
like pack I ever bought or anything, or like when I stopped playing was when the Planeswalkers came out.
okay. Let's see. MTG
So I reckon that's
20.
about 10 years ago. I mean, we'll look it up now, but I would say about 10, maybe a little less. I mean, who's really fucking counting, right? But
Yeah, and Planeswalkers was never something I really did myself. That's one of the newer things. Like I was saying, one of the newer formats.
yeah, that was like the
Um,
first new format where they were like, "Hey, this is a new style of card and format of how to play," and I was like, "Whoa." And then it was kind of cool, and then stopped. I mean, you know what, dude? It might have even been in like 2008 when the Planeswalkers came.
2010. Yeah,
2010. Okay,
2010
2010. Yeah.
here off of Wizards.
Mm.
Which is it. I think I was still playing at that point, but I think this was just starting to come out, and at that point I was realizing there was a lot of shit I had going on in my life. So I, not long after that, we ended up moving up
What,
to
like
Vermont,
like
didn't we?
chasing tail or making money? What do you mean?
Oh, both. I mean, I think it was, let's see, that was just after high school. So I was working. I don't think I was with anybody at that point. So I was just working as much as I could, trying to get by. Um, that was a hard time in life. Early 20s, always weird for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not really an adult, but you're not really a kid. So it's a funny place to be.
Mm.
And it wasn't long after that. I think the three of us, me, you, and Marky Mark, that we moved up to Vermont. See,
Yeah, I
2010.
was 16. I was just legal to work in Vermont. So, what? You're 4 years older than me, so you were 20.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a really fun experience. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to like go the whole distance. I got fired, which was weird. But is what it is. Learning experience, and I had fun either way. And
mm,
it taught me a
yeah,
lot, like about how to just go for it. Like especially when you're
yeah.
young.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to give it a go.
Yeah.
If it's
Kind
something
of like
new.
playing Magic again. Just fucking go for it. If you used to play it,
Yeah,
like why don't you just try it again?
yeah, and it's funny you say that. So the reason I really got back into it, one of my coworkers, on one of his breaks, he had gone and gotten a booster pack of Magic cards, and I was like, "Holy moly! I haven't seen these things in forever. Let me check this out." And I was scrolling through his cards, and I was like, "Man, this has got all sorts of new stuff. This is, exciting me again, just like it was back in the day." So he was like, "Have you ever, done draft? It's a great way to get back into it." It's like I'd never even heard of it. So apparently, this format called drafting is
It's like what
you and a
people
couple.
do with NFL. It's what the NFL does to like get their picks, but it's not totally random. But
Yeah, well,
like they'll go through, like, for example, if your Magic cards were, when you open up a bunch of them, right, and
yeah,
then you kind of go round by round. So if there's three people and X amount of packs to make a deck, right, for each
yeah,
person, and everyone has a round to pick a card. Maybe you roll a 10-sided or 20-sided die to see who goes first to get the first pick. And like with the NFL, I believe it's kind of the same deal where either they pay money or there's some randomized system something like that, where a team will get to pick the new or players that are up for draft, for example, who are at the end of their contract. So that's how like Tom Brady switched, or I think it was Tom Brady. Don't quote me on that, but some famous like quarterbacks switch teams now because of a draft. So explain to me how the Magic draft works.
So how Magic drafting works is you need at least two people, and both people have three booster packs minimum.
Yeah.
So you can't do
Do
more, but
they? And this is a joke. Do they have to be a virgin? Is that a requirement?
no, but it is good to sacrifice one for good luck.
Do they? Is it
Yeah, one mana
better?
of every
Like, do you have a
you get.
better chance of doing well at this if you have like a constant sinus problem, or an allergic to pollen, or like pet dander?
Yes, if you're constantly stuffed up, it's definitely the way to go.
And that's why those
Yeah,
people were always kicking my ass at the tournament.
yeah. If
Anyways,
you're indoors all the time, it's the game for you.
perfect.
Yeah, you don't want to be playing on a sidewalk where a strong breeze could come by and ruin everything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you could use pebbles or
they
small
are paper
frogs.
cards.
If you're down south, use some frogs to weigh your cards down and maybe add a new dynamic to the game. But okay, let's be serious here. Let's talk about the game and how this new
Uh,
style of draft
yeah,
is
draft.
working.
So each person gets three booster packs. Each person takes one of those booster packs. This is how you start, and you open it. You don't show the other person the other cards quite yet. So you get first look at this booster pack, and you go through. You kind of get a feel for what's going to be in it, and you get to choose one of those, and you keep it. You put it down on your table, and you pass the rest of the cards to the next person. So you also get the next pack with one less card. And then you take whatever you think is the best card and you
Mm,
pass it to the next person. And you do that until
there's
there's
no
no more
cards
cards.
left.
Right. And then everybody opens up another pack and you do the same thing and you go in the opposite rotation. And you
Oh,
do
okay,
that for the
okay.
third. And then afterwards, you have about 40, 45 cards. Um, so out of that, there's probably 10 or 15 that you don't really want. Oh, I was trying to build a red deck, a red and blue deck, maybe, because it's draft. You almost always end up doing a multicolor deck
Mm.
because that's just how you have to get by. Um, so then
They
there's a
called it a
bunch of cards,
rainbow deck back in the day, but that sense has
right?
been taken by the LGBT
Warriors.
community. I think they don't want us to call it a rainbow deck anymore. Actually, I think that's a lie, but who knows?
Yeah,
Who
that's probably
knows?
just hearsay. Yeah. But so after you've got a certain number of cards, you go through, you add in lands from your personal collection or whatever, and then you make a 40 card deck instead of a 60 card deck.
It's like
So
back in
it's a lot.
old school Magic terms, it would be called, like, if you were to make a red deck, you'd have a burn deck. It'd be 40 cards, quick to play, and just decimate the opponent's life without actually attacking
Right.
the monsters they have on the field.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Whereas this is,
Goblin Grenade and shit, Browbeat, all that. You remember all those old school cards, dude? Shit was
oh
wild.
yeah, yeah, shock, just some,
Yeah. Fucking
lightning bolt,
fireball.
lightning bolt. Yeah, right, exactly. Fireball. I tap all my mana. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and they're
What was the record? Someone built a deck. You might have to pull this up, Jamie. Look it
Right.
up now. So the world record like win for like a burn deck, red burn deck or any burn deck, because now it's different things too. There's mill decks where they take away, like they're not actually attacking you or your things on the field. What they're doing is they're taking your deck and putting it into the graveyard. They're making you do it. They're saying, here's a card I'm going to play, and now take 10 cards off the top of your deck and then put them in the graveyard. So they or outside so that they can't be used, like out of the game. So now you're done with, okay, if you ran a 40 card deck, now you're really fucked. You know, like we're talking tournament type shit. There was so many back in the day, there was like a lot of different methods how to win. You know, you could use like a horde style deck where you would have Kavus or Slivers or fucking, or was it Slivers? You
Slivers.
could do like a vampire deck based off a life drain. You could do all kinds of shit. You know, burn decks based off of that. Mill decks, blue mill decks. I mean, like, for fuck's
So
sake.
the shortest professional game was 6 turns,
Six
but you
turns.
6 turns, but there are recorded games of people winning on turn one.
Oh, well, maybe it's because of the unglued or unhinged or whatever.
Yeah, some cards are
Like the
not
cheese stands alone. If you play it, you win.
right. Yeah,
You
and
win.
a bunch of cards are just not tournament legal.
Yeah,
You just
those
play.
of which we said are not the
Yeah.
unglued and unhinged, which they're wonderful cards. I mean, I love the idea of them, and it's a cool thing to do. You know, you're a company and you want to have a little bit of satire to the game. Like there's a fucking card called Ouch, where you can't destroy it. I think, don't quote me on it, but I think it's like once it's played and it's put onto the person, like it's like an enchantment to a creature, I think, and it stays on the playing field. It'll just go from creature to creature and leech 1 point off of their health or some shit, or 1 point of damage off of the player's health every match, every round, and it's like you have to say ouch, and if you don't, then you get like 2 points or something
Yeah.
like
Whenever it's called ow.
ow.
Whenever whenever a creature deals damage to a player, that player may say ow once for each permanent named ow. If that player doesn't, it deals 1 damage to them.
Yeah, so it was just like a silly, weird thing,
Yeah,
you know. And
yeah.
then look up the what was it, the BFM, the big effing monster. It's 2 cards, and it's just a fucking head, and it's supposed to be the biggest creature in the Magic universe, and it has like what 99 attack or some bullshit like that.
Yeah. The big furry monster, the
Big
BFF.
BFM, yeah. We like.
Yeah.
I remember,
So
dude, back in the
yeah.
day, spending like $70 or something for the entire unglued set. For like, I got Christmas money and I was like, oh, I'm fucking getting this, because it was so much fun to just like add a couple of them into a deck and then just play with your friends and be like,
So it takes 15 black mana,
yeah,
and it's a 99.99, and it's really hard to read because
yeah.
it's like split
It's
onto
two
two different
cards.
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need
it's
2 cigarette pack sized cards, and you have to. I
exactly.
think you have to play them separately.
So I'll read it off. You must play both BFM cards to put BFM into play. If
Okay, yeah.
either BFM card leaves play, sacrifice the other. BFM can be blocked only by 3 or more creatures.
Dude,
And it's a 99.99 for, when I say 16. So that's ridiculous. You have to have like your entire deck worth of mana, only black, in play, and then you have to have both of these cards at the same time.
yeah.
So unglued, unhinged, and unstable
They're
were
silly.
all really fun. Yeah, they were absolutely a blast.
Yeah.
I was actually just watching online an unboxing of an entire booster box of unhinged, original factory sealed.
Ooh.
Um, it was like $650. The guy had it, and since it was on YouTube, it was like one of his patrons. Somebody bought it for him, sent it. This guy opens it and then sends all the cards back to the person that bought it. So this guy's got a great racket going. Honestly, great setup.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
that almost is like, okay, if you were to talk to any of the old school mobsters who ran rackets or any of the organized crime back in the day, and you told them, hey, you could do this later on in life, like in 60 years, 40 years, you could do this. what that guy does. Come on,
Right. Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. And so the whole series, Unglued, Unhinged, Unstable, always really fun. That was a really nostalgic time uh when I was just getting into Magic. Um I think Unstable, one of the series was just coming out, and I remember I was at
Unglued, I
Martha's.
think, was the first.
Unglued, yeah, yeah. So I
Pull that
was
up,
at,
Jamie. I mean, what?
yeah,
Come on now.
right.
I mean,
MTG.
just get up your Wikipedia while we're talking, and let's start. Because I love Magic, and it's been a long time, so I can't necessarily
So Unglued
pull
came out in
particular
'98.
facts, but
Yeah,
what?
Unglued came out in '98.
Yeah, dude, I was a
Uh,
kid, bro.
so so long
I
ago.
was born in
Uh,
'92. I remember that shit. Like, I was like, oh my god. Like, I think that was one of the first box sets that I actually bought, where it's like you get every one of every card, like in the whole set. Like, you pay $70 or whatever, right? Is there even a way to see what it would cost back in the day? Like to
oh yeah, of course.
like
Yeah,
to buy
yeah.
the old original box set where you get every single card that's in the unglued set, just one of them, and I think it was like $70 or some shit like that.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to find that for old
Yeah,
prices.
I mean,
Yeah.
you might be able to go on like eBay and find like some fucking buddy who's like got a website who talks about old. I don't know, who knows. But
Mm.
anyways, the Magic Draft. I mean, this is something new and this is interesting. It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
fun way to do like kind of a tournament style competition with a new twist to it, and you don't have to have a lot of people. And you don't have to go
Yeah,
and sign up or be in a mall. Or
exactly. You don't have to have a huge gathering of people. You don't have to wait for a certain night or anything like that. You can literally just, like if you don't have any decks, if you don't have anything built up, if you don't have a big bunch of cards to build a great beast deck from or something, you can just go down, spend $12 or $15, get 3 booster packs, and hang out with a couple of friends. As long as you have a stack of land, which you can buy off of like eBay or Amazon or whatever for,
mad cheap, mad cheap.
yeah, I mean
Because you can
$5.
use any edition of land, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can just fill up whatever
Yeah.
regular basic land,
Like, you could
you know.
find cards from the '80s, or not '80s, but '90s, 2000s, or late 2000s, current, that are just lands, and they're cheap as fuck.
Yeah, absolutely. A
It's the
penny.
cheapest thing about Magic is the lands or mana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is funny because I was actually, like I said, I was watching that Unhinged boxing, and the lands from that, the foil lands, are just like incredibly priced. Let me pull
Yeah,
this up
yeah, they are.
quick.
I wish I still had them. I wish I still had a bunch of fucking cards, dude. Oh man, I remember there was like, I don't know if it was dragons or drakes or whatever, but there was a certain set where that came out that was focused upon multicolored like dragons. So
Mm.
you would have like a set of 5 different multicolored dragons, right? And you would
So
use multicolored mana to put them out, and they would all kind of boost each other once you have them. And that was a really
so
cool thing back in the day. And now
so
it's way different.
I got some prices pulled up. Thank you again, Jamie. If you're ready. Okay, so a forest unhinged, uh, used is $47
Wow, dude. That's
for just
crazy. If my
for
house
literally
didn't burn, I could have made
yeah.
what? How many forests come in a set? What, like 10, 15? Not even?
Yeah, every single booster pack came with one. Whether or not it was foil was,
Yeah, but like
you know,
back in the day, am I just talking out of my ass and like having a Mandela magic effect, like where I thought like you could just buy a set.
no, that was a thing.
So like, okay, so that is a thing. Like, I do remember this correctly. Like, if okay, so an edition comes out, you could buy a box set of the edition, so you're guaranteed at least one of every card in that edition.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, for an entire unhinged play set is $785.
Holy fuck!
Yeah. And that's like none of those are foil. Like it includes every rare,
Dude,
of course.
you
Like
gonna.
but
I'm gonna go throw up, dude. That's fucking
uh
insane. I'm gonna go throw up.
there's a couple of pictures here. I don't think it includes any
That is
lands.
insane, dude. Oh my god. We had, dude, between me and my brother, we
So it's
had
four of
so
everything.
many fucking old school Magic cards that were not only in good condition, but we also had duplicates that we would play with. You know, like,
Oh,
I mean,
this
he
shiny.
had his own unglued set. I had my own. He had first edition shit that was like properly preserved. So he had a
Yep.
first edition, I believe. What is it? Black border, Black Lotus. Okay, and
Yeah.
that card at the time was worth like $300 or $500, mint condition, like whatever A1 stamp, fucking bullshit. Now, what is it worth? I mean, 1,500. Like, what are we talking here? What's the?
Um
This is
the,
crazy to
so
think about. I mean, it's a rare card. Like, no one really, not a lot of people
it,
had that
it
card.
the biggest thing is like it all depends on what condition and what printing it's from.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The printing first edition is the most important.
yeah,
The
so
condition is also incredibly important. It needs to
yeah,
be like if you have a very poor quality one, it's not going to be worth very much. You know?
so um there's I want to be very picky about which one I choose to tell you the price on because like the quality and everything. Let's
Dude, just lay
I'll
it on me.
I'll pull up a PSA 9.
Dude, I can
All right.
handle bad news. Like
No,
I
no, no. Okay. So a Black Border Beta Edition is
Yep.
currently going for 42,000.
Wow. Because John paid, I believe, like $520 for one
Yeah.
of those encased, like grade A, way back when it
Right.
was
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Like a
So
yeah.
that's honestly making me nauseous. And if John
Yeah.
hears this, he's gonna be pretty fucking pissed.
You can get
Actually,
Black Lotus
dude,
Unlimited.
now that I think about it, there might be some burned cards or semi like warped cards and some that are okay from back in the
So
day that I think we
so
might have gotten and
right now
saved.
on TCG Player, Black Lotus Heavy Played White Border, 14,000.
Oh my fucking god.
So BGS 8.5 Unlimited White Border, 33,900.
But are they selling at that? Because like this is a thing here now we're talking like this is like an auction price thing. Like is this what
No,
people are paying and buying, or is this just what's up there? Because you can go to YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. You can go to eBay and search up first edition holographic
right.
Charizard, and it's going to be $150,000 or $1,999,000 or something. And you'll see
Yeah,
when you go to actually sold, none of them are
yeah,
sold for that price. You
right.
know, like so like what's the deal with this? What are we talking here? Realistically, what is this card worth?
It's one of those things where it's like art. Like it,
Well, it's not even art; it's nostalgia at that point, and it's also
yeah.
one of those legend. That's one of the best cards in terms of Magic: The Gathering. Back before, like back in the old days, okay, in the first edition or second edition, Black Lotus was probably the best card. If you had, I don't even know if you could have two in your deck during tournament times, but if you had two, I mean, if you pulled one out first round, you can summon a crazy good creature very quickly because I believe it's tap it to
At,
add any color mana or three.
it's three of any
Yeah.
mana. And
So I
yeah,
mean, dude, it's one of the best cards, probably still to this
for
day.
zero. For
Yeah, you
zero.
just put it out first. If you have it in your hand, first hand, and you have the first play, you put that out. If you
Yeah.
don't win, you're a fucking idiot. Like, and
So
you've built your deck wrong, bro. Like,
it also says tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt.
so you can
So
use
like
it like a an instant
yeah.
because they call it interrupt now, but it was called an instant like a.
Well, the ability.
Okay,
So
yeah, I see what you mean. Because
yeah,
artifacts
you can
had the
put it on the
yes,
field for nothing,
it's an
but you can't do
artifact,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mono artifact.
yeah, dude. Probably, I mean, arguably one of the best cards in the entire game, and that's why it was worth so much money back in the day. Not only that, but they didn't make a bunch of them. You know,
No,
like
no,
they
that's
just had it out for the beta and then the fucking first season, first what the fuck was it called? What is it called? First set, first gen. What was it called
uh
in Magic the
first,
Gathering?
print, first printing,
First printing.
original.
Yeah. I mean, my God, dude, to think that that card just kind of got fucked up. Either way, like if John has it in his backpack of Magic, I mean, I remember going into my room or his room and seeing his room was fucked up, like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
fucked up. The only thing that really survived was like metal, you know, and
yeah,
and like the cards were in a closet, but that also got charred up and then got wet, you know? So like a lot of our cards too, like our things were, you know, they're not in plastic or anything. So like when they get wet, they get stuck together. Like I had decks and things that had very
just
expensive cards that are worth money now, and they're just when I would find it, I'd be like this is ruined. Like I can't get a single card out of it and make it good again. Like I couldn't shuffle it into a deck without seeing it. Like it would be unfair, you know what I mean? And then it has no value anyways online because it has severe water damage. Like the back is ripped off and it's like warped. Like think about it, you know? Like it was fucked. It was very very fucked. We spent a lot of money on that too because he worked at Walden Books, like a
yep.
bookstore, and helped run the
Magic
Magic
there.
the Gathering tournament every
Yeah,
Sunday. And
Friday
like
Night Magics. Yeah,
where we would run, I mean, everything from a normal like booster pack tournament to a
yep.
game set tournament that goes along for a month, and then we would do melees for fun. We would have like you could also just play with people. So if someone got knocked out of the tournament and you're there just to watch, you could be like, "Yo, dude, you want to play?" They're like, "Yeah, all right, cool." And then like, what do you want to play? Like, you know, do you want to play like fucking unglued or like do you want to play silly rules, do you want to play regular, like you want to do a tournament style, like, and then most of the time it's just for fun, you know, like just let's play. And it was, dude, so much fun hanging with people, and like you get to know people, you know, when you play these kind of card games or board games, or like it's more intimate than even having like a phone call. I feel like sometimes because
Yeah,
with a phone
yeah.
call I
Change
can't
back.
see
Yeah.
you. I can't see how you react to what I say. I can't see how you react to how I play. You know, especially when we're playing a game, right? You know, so it's like it tells it. You could find a lot about a person, how they play a certain card game, or like how they
Mm,
react to you when you see them in person and talk to them, and you're actually starting to compete now in a card game that is just for fun, but it's like, and it's just very interesting. I remember
yeah,
that very vividly from the past, like being
yeah.
young as fuck, like 10 years old, and most of these guys that are going to Walden Books, you know, they're like 16 or 14 or whatever, some older, uh, you know, and they're like crushing. And I'm like,
Yeah,
damn.
right. Yeah, absolutely fucking murdering it. Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Like, you can kind of tell someone's personality by the kind of deck that they're building.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's coming at you with just a mob of goblins.
Yeah,
You
well, that's
know,
how I look at a lot of things in life, you know. It's like I've come to the point now that I'm a very social, you know, animal.
yeah,
And even if you're closed up, I'll open you up and I'll figure out that either we're gonna be friends or we're not gonna be friends. But either way, I'm gonna put you in that uncomfortable situation, and then when you're at home and before you go to sleep and we're not friends, like you didn't like that interaction, you're like, this is different. No one's ever done that before. Like you're gonna learn something from it. You know what I mean? Like I fucking I've done this, you know, the Magic the Gathering stuff, tournament, like playing with people, getting to know people that way. I've gone and involved myself in like the boxing culture, and like it's a wonderful thing. You know,
mm.
if someone that's listening isn't doing that, you should go and get involved into some kind of club or something and fucking meet
Oh,
people, dude.
absolutely.
I mean, maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
safe right now because of COVID, but
right.
I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of
Well,
is. But I'm not here to, you know,
yeah.
tell you what to
Um,
do.
we're the state I'm living in currently, we're starting to ease up a couple of restrictions, so we're able to get together and do these magic drafts. So it's been great to like bring me and some of my friends back together in like a social setting. It's been, fucking wonderful. Sit around, have a couple of fancy drinks,
Yeah, it's fun.
open max. Yeah,
And it's a lot
absolutely.
safer than like just going to like a bar or something, you know, like
Oh my God,
or
yeah.
going out
Oh,
and bowling or like golfing is fine. You're outside in the open, that's cool, and like you can be, I guess,
yeah,
socially distanced, but it's like I don't know, man. It's
yeah,
these kind of old things that we're hitting on like it's hitting us in like a nostalgic way. You know, like
yep,
Magic the Gathering. I mean, we're fucking 30 and we're talking about Magic the Gathering. That that's pretty
yeah.
cool, but also, people can be like, "Oh, that's fucking lame." But look, dude, what are you doing? What are you, a fucking
Yo,
what are you, a plumber?
yo.
And you just deal with
So
human waste all day and like you
yeah.
know? What the fuck,
Oh,
guy?
it's
Don't
not
hate
even
on
that.
us.
Like, I mean, okay, go right ahead. And I have no problem with working your side job. It's a entertaining hobby. It's something I enjoy doing. But on top of that, there's some investment to be made into it.
Yeah, and I
I think,
think that's what we really wanted to talk about on this podcast about Magic too, right? Is about how this is starting to grow in a way where you can make safe money slowly and potentially big money in long term, right?
yeah, oh, absolutely. Like, I'm actually looking at a page right now of current selling statistics for sealed booster boxes. So usually when they come out, you can buy them for um, they, I can get them cheap because I know a guy, kind of a thing. Um,
Yeah.
but you can get them for maybe $90, give or take. Maybe you can get them for about $100,
And you
right?
can also go like on eBay and find single cards and pay an auction potentially way more money than they're worth, which isn't
Yeah,
necessarily the smart thing to do unless you're a diehard fan and you need that card, right? Is that
right,
is that
right.
fair to say? Like in
Oh
terms
yeah,
of
yeah.
trying to make money off of playing or trying to be like competitive when you want to
Oh,
play like in terms
yeah.
of like what would you call it? What's the term of like card game sports? I know there's esports for like gaming. There's like poker
Tournament
sports.
player.
This is
Yeah.
just tournament card game player. Like, is that what it's called when you play Magic the Gathering for a living and people watch it and like, you know?
Yeah, I think so. Is you
Yeah.
would just be considered
Is that
a
a thing?
tournament player. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. I
Um,
mean, I don't even know why I asked. I mean, we've had so many conversations just hanging out, having nothing to say, and I'd be like, "Hey, Pat, you ever thought of this?" And he'd be like, "No, but I guarantee you, it's out there. It's out there on the internet somewhere." And I'd be like, "You're right, man. It's probably out
right.
there, or someone's thought of it, and done it, and like it's documented in some way."
So the number one um, Magic player all time, Paolo Dama his all-time
Wow.
prize total, eight.
Paulo? So is he from Brazil? Spain?
Yeah, yeah,
Brazil.
Dama because it's a DA. I would expect that to be Portuguese. Well, his first name is
Uh,
Paulo Victor.
yeah,
It's
okay,
Paulo
that's
Victor
probably
Dama.
leading towards. But let's not guess when we don't know. We could look it
Yeah.
up. Jamie could pull it up. We'll wait for that. But anyways, let's say, look at
Anyway,
this. This
so
guy is number one at playing a game that most people who are listening to this right now, unless you're a Magic fan, you don't know what the fuck we're really talking about.
right,
But
right.
let me
So
tell you something. This guy, and Pat's about to tell you how much this dude makes and what he's worth, essentially. Like, theoretically, what he's worth.
air
Lay it
quotes,
on him.
right?
Lay it on him.
So number one is 897,000.
What?
Yeah. The number 10, 442,000.
Wow.
Number 30, 253,000. All right. Let's scroll down. Number 50, 187,000. All right. So these are the prize totals for their
Playing a
career.
fucking card game.
So this is their career prize total
Yeah.
for tournament play.
Yeah. So
So
like if you
that's
play a game and it's 25K and you do that 5 times a year and now it's showing because you're new you only have 100K, like that's what you're saying, right? So the top guy has 800 and something
97, 897,000 for and
in total
the
prize winnings. So that's him
yep,
getting in first place, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
and
wow.
playing a whole bunch, yeah. The number 100 is 115,000. So it's
That's
just crazy how much money there is to be made in it. Like
yeah, it is. If you
it's
think
like
about it in terms of the difficulty of how you're going to beat those people. Statistically, I mean, let's be real here. You could create, you could talk to like a programmer that could program a what like software that could give you an algorithm to basically create the perfect deck that would go against any deck. And if you memorized that, you could have those all at hand. But here's the thing with tournaments when it comes to card games. You don't know what the opponent's going to play.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't know,
exactly.
like, you know what I mean? So, like, they could run a mill deck and you have a burn
Yeah,
deck and you can't do anything. You could have
exactly. Yeah,
any other
yeah,
combination and you're fucked, or you're very well off. So that's where it
yeah,
gets
yeah.
interesting.
Like,
So
I've got a
how does this young man? Is it luck? Like how
oh
does he
god,
not
no.
know who's who? Like he knows the person, right? So he can kind of base off of the past tournaments that his opponent has played to see what decks they own or what they've played the most, right? Kind of like boxing. You could see, oh, this opponent likes to take people to the ground most of the time or stand up, right? But that doesn't change the fact that on fight day or tournament day, you're going in there with they're going in there with a fresh set of whatever and you don't know what it is. And same with you, right? Like this is what makes it fun and competitive.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Because when you go into a tournament, I don't think anybody's going to have a heads up of what other people are
Like
playing.
it's not like when we're talking big money tournaments, like this isn't like, oh, everyone's got the same deck and
Right.
like
Yeah, it's not like
this is no.
NASCAR,
You're
you know?
bringing under tournament rules what is allowed in your deck and you're going to try to make it so that during the tournament, if you only have, I don't even know the rules, sometimes maybe you might be able to swap a deck like once in the tournament for an opponent and that's it. Like who knows? There might be certain rules for that, but it's like maybe you have one deck for the whole tournament. I mean, that is insane to think about. How am I going to use this one deck to combat what all other opponents that I'm going to face if I win are doing the exact same thing? And there's so many
Mm.
different combinations when it comes to a card game like Magic. I mean, it's just so in depth. It's so much more in depth than Pokemon. It's so much more in depth than Yu-Gi-Oh. It's dare I
So
say more
here,
in depth than poker. I mean, it's one of those games that
well,
if
yeah,
it had the correct fan base, could
yeah,
probably get more revenue generating from it than poker because of the value of the cards in general. I mean, the
it,
only thing that
and it's
poker has making for it is the views and the pot that's won by the tournament winner. With
well,
Magic,
yeah,
you
poker
have that.
items,
You
something you
have
physically create.
legitimate
Yeah,
cards that you could.
yeah,
So if I was like a tournament winner and I'm gonna retire, let's say I'm 40 years old, I'm the number one guy, that Paolo guy. I would maybe give one card out of the winning deck, or I would sell the winning deck, like raffle
sign
it off
it,
as a charity or something. Like,
exactly, sign it and sell it.
and
Yeah,
that's a way for me to make a shit ton of revenue on YouTube now, and I don't actually have to compete in a tournament, and I also help a
right,
bunch
right.
of the sport itself. It would be
Yeah,
like, you know
when a
how
baseball
boxers and
player gets
shit
away.
when they retire, they become coaches a lot of the time, and they
Yep,
help
yep.
the younger generation overcome certain bounds and leaps that they have to do. And this is a cool thing. It's weird how Magic the Gathering for me is like I could probably watch a tournament and get almost as excited, almost we'll say as like a normal fight, like a prelim fight, you know. But if
Mhm.
I were to watch like the final tournament of some Magic guy, like big prize if you win, um, I'd probably also get very excited like I did for the Francis Ngannou fight and Stipe Miocic. Like I might even throw money on it if I could. If I could find a line to bet on, I might do it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that piques my interest in a way that I mean, just gets my fucking Packer hard. So
Oh
I'm a
shit.
nerd. Like I
Yeah.
look. A lot of people say, "Oh, you fucking look like Bradley Cooper and this and that." Dude, get out of here, guy. I don't look like nobody. I look like myself, and I'm a fucking shell of a man, and I'm just trying to be better than my fucking relatives. That's all I'm
Yeah.
trying to do. I'm trying
A
to
shell of
just
a man
make it better.
probably filled with boots.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
I'm nothing but a
I'm no
cup.
one
I'm
to
not.
look up to yet. Don't. I don't deserve any fans I gain when I box. Like I'm just starting. When I do comedy eventually and start doing stand up, this is something I've also come to terms with. There's gonna be haters. There's gonna be people who do, literally just you're not good enough. Like I'm not gonna be good enough probably, and that's fine.
Well,
Same thing with like Magic the Gathering. If I come back into it, I'm not gonna be good enough to just jump into some crazy tournament. But take the proper
yeah,
steps, work the right ways, and you're gonna get up there if that's something you want to do.
right. And it's also one of those things where I think it's what are you trying to get out of it? Like if it's a hobby, it's like golf. Like if
Yeah,
you get to a certain point where, okay, I'm gonna be about this good at golf. I can get better. Basketball, swimming. Okay,
100%. Yeah.
I'm figure
it's
out how to
it's just
swim.
how much you want to go into that competitive nature of a certain sport. Like listen, if you're good at golf, but you don't want to compete at it, then there's no reason why you should do it.
Go and turn,
Like if you're
don't do
not
it.
into it,
Yeah,
there's no reason.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
unless you're really like you're like, oh fuck, like I don't want to like work for anyone, or like I got fired from my good job or something. Maybe you have a certain skill you can work on, and it's golf, like in that certain aspect. But um, you know, this is the way, man. It is life. It is just the way it fucking works. You find something that works, and you find something that doesn't. Magic the Gathering is something that's working for a lot of people, and
yeah, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things that I'm seeing here that I'm picking up lately is the investing side of this.
yeah.
Is to buy a box and sit on it.
When
Like
we
we were talking for
if we were to
so
make a
like
graph of Magic the Gathering popularity and sales from when we started to what it is now, we're looking at a crazy uptick. And if it rides right, which it should because of social media and YouTube and stuff and a bunch of people who love the card game, and they have the ability to now watch pros like you or other people or even just guys that want to talk about it like we're doing. This is something that is only going to grow that stock. You feel me?
absolutely.
Kind of
Yeah,
like how
it just
when we were talking about, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like Logan Paul doing the Pokemon thing after we already know there's a Pokemon guy out there. Like
yeah,
if you like
yeah,
Pokemon, there's a Pokemon guy who fucking like has millions, if not billions, of views, like overall, of just unboxing when he buys like first edition packs and spends a shit ton of money. Right? I think he has the Charizard video. I mean that shit has struck a nerve in the YouTube community where it's like, whoa, something's happening here that hasn't happened in a long time. You know, like it's almost like these old card games that us 30-year-olds now are no longer playing, but we're seeing come on the social medias and YouTubes and other platforms. I mean, it's creating a resurgence. It's building a stock now. Like you're saying, it's like, why wouldn't you, if you know about Pokemon or if you know about Yu-Gi-Oh or if you know about Magic the Gathering and you have some money to invest, or if you have those old cards, you
oh
should be
yeah,
fucking working on maintaining them for a while because they're only going to go up. I mean, and use them to your advantage. If you want to sell them, do it because it's only going to help the community grow further.
yeah. So here's a good example. Like, if some people are like, "What do you mean? How are you going to invest? How are you going to make money doing this?" Okay, so uh, what I've been getting into is you buy a big box, a booster box. That's pretty much how most people do the investing. You don't open it. You keep it sealed,
I mean, should
and
we
you
talk
just
about the investing aspect of Magic, or should we? I mean, maybe we should. Maybe we should just talk about this basic kind of like how
yeah.
you get into getting into this little uptick in
There's a
something you
number,
could make some money off of.
number of ways people get into it.
Yeah, like instead of
You know,
going to your stockbroker and spending money to go invest in Tesla right now, if you're an old Magic head and you have old Magic cards, why don't you listen to us and follow
right?
what we kind of say and what our maybe you're out of the loop for a while. We know what's going on, or Pat knows what's going on, you know. Like for example, if I had all those old cards, I would be like, "Yo, Pat, what should I do with these?" You would probably be
Oh,
like,
right.
"I mean, what? Okay,
Oh, I got the thing. I got the site.
yeah,
I got the lowdown on how to put it in the package.
like
Like,
let's say I have first edition or beta, whatever, like the cream de la creme, Black Lotus. I have a couple of other great ones, right? They're let's say they're not perfect quality, but let's say they're good enough. I mean, what do we do with those? You know, like as a guy like you, do you use it to boost a YouTube channel and show that you have this card, or do you sell it right off the bat? You know, and just
So
sell the stock because essentially
what
you own stock now, right?
Yeah, yeah. First thing you do is you get it graded. You get a hold of a PSA grader in your local enough area. You go by whatever standards they're gonna have. You
And
send it
most of the
out.
time, you'll find that at like a local hobby shop, right? Like where there's baseball cards being sold. There's normally someone that they can take the card and
Yeah, yeah.
assure
Well,
you, like give you insurance. Like, hey, here's the face value of the card. We're gonna take it, ship it out for you to someone who's gonna grade it, and then we'll get you the certificate
well,
of author. Like, how does that work?
just like anything,
Or do they
it's
do it
almost
right
always
there?
well. If you go down to your local shop, like if you're trying to sell a card, if you got
Like a hobby shop
uh,
where you have a
yeah,
card,
yeah.
like you can go buy baseball cards. Like this is what we're talking.
So
Like it's not a gas
I'll
station.
tell you my experience. I got into drafting with some of my buddies, and we opened up some packs, and I got this card, and we looked it up, and they're like, "Holy shit, this card's like $50."
Nice. And you
Just
probably only spent what, $15 in the pot to get the packs, or what did you spend?
they came out to be like $3, $4 a pack, maybe.
Okay. All right.
So
Well, yeah.
for
So that's, I mean,
$12,
yeah,
for the three packs out of opening one pack, I turned that $4 into like this $50 lottery, right?
correct.
Okay, cool. A lot of times you get shit that's worth like 42 cents. So it was luck. Okay, cool. So I go down to my local gaming store, my LGS, and I say, "Hey, old man, bring your fat ass down here. I want to sell this fucking card, you piece of shit." So he comes, right now, of course, because that's how I talk.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
you know me. So he wheels his big butt down and he says, "Oh, look at let me see that." And he puts his greasy fingers all over my nice fancy card, and he says, "Oh, this ain't worth nothing." And I think to myself, well, it's not now because you don't know how to handle it. He's used to selling, gumballs and little Pokemon figures and collectible dolls and shit. So he doesn't know what he's doing at all, right? So instead of you know, wiping his hands off, coming over, just leaning over. He doesn't know what he's doing. Unprofessional, right? So what you want to do is if you've got something nice, like you're talking about a collector's item,
Yeah.
right? Not just you pulled out of a small pack
Hmm.
of the recent
Are we
years.
going straight to the internet? Is that what we're doing?
Any smart person, you learn how to do it yourself. Like if you gotta
Yeah. Like go to the
change,
internet, market it yourself. Don't go through the local shop dealer, right?
go. Like I said, find
Yeah.
your grader, the person that's gonna give you a certified quality on it.
And that can be
You
done
know,
a numerous amount of ways. You could do it in person for some ways. You could do it online, right?
a lot of times what they do is you get a hold of them, you pay $50 or whatever price they're going to charge you. Everybody's different. You get a hold of a company, they're going to send you a package, a special envelope type thing. You put your card inside it. It's got a return label. You send it out to them. It's all insured and shit. Um, and then they rate it. They'll send you the card back with all the information. They rate it in like four different categories, edges, surface, back,
Mm.
color, printing, that kind of shit, And they say from 0 to 10 on a 0.5 scale increasing. So you can have like a 6, a 6.5, a 7, a 7.5, all the way up to a 10. And what's funny is you can literally open a brand new pack and it's not a quality 10
Mm.
just because of like the quality control at Wizards of the Coast. A
Yeah,
lot of
and
their
like
stuff
how it
just
went through shipping and all that stuff. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And like, how it was sitting in the box, how many times it got moved around. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like you
Um,
can open a fresh pack and find that your cards aren't perfect. Like they have some
yeah.
deformity on the edge, like because they've been
Oh,
rubbed up and
oh
like
my God.
been crushed by other packages.
Or if they're foil. So
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast has a terrible issue with their foiling process. So a lot of their cards are nice and shiny and they got this cool look to them and everything, but it makes them curl. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge issue.
Yeah,
But
especially when they get wet.
yeah, yeah, especially if they get caught in a house fire, they
Yeah.
curl. not terrible.
Mm.
But there's different ways to make money off it. Like if you want to sell single cards, you're doing a decent amount of work. The other way to do it is to buy it like you buy silver or gold. You
Yeah.
buy a booster box for $95 and then you don't sell it. So I got a list right here. A Core 2021, a booster box, is now $115. Well, you could buy it for like $95
Mm.
like 6 months ago, and now it's up to 115.
Wow.
Okay, so
I mean,
uh,
that's crazy. That's like
yeah,
the best scenario when you talk about like investing in a stock. Like if I were to say, hey,
right,
look,
right.
invest in Tesla, I know you're going to make this much money in this time. And it's like this has been proven now, like in terms of the cards, those three titans, right? It's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic the Gathering. We're seeing this crazy uptick now. Do you think it's because of Logan Paul and other big YouTube stars, or do you think it's just because there's a bunch of diehard fans out there?
Yeah, no, I think that there's a pretty good resurgence for a couple of things. Um, it's definitely got a lot of people that are at home that are having a lot of free time. So it's, you've got some extra money, thank you, stimulus, and
Mm.
you
Mm-hmm.
want to have something you can do. So, you're able to bring up some old hobbies, get back into some things you haven't, or if you're new to it, it's a great time to get back into it.
Yeah, it
You
really
know,
is. Like for me, it's about nostalgia, and for you, it's about nostalgia and also a bit of business aspect because you've been into it more than me, really. Like in terms of keeping up with it, and especially now that it's we're having again this uptick in Magic the Gathering stock, whether or not you want to call it in what's being
asset.
sold
Yeah,
or what's being put on the content on the internet. Because again, like Pokemon, maybe not a lot's being sold. Like they're like Pokemon, the company itself might not be making a bunch of money um, in terms of sales, but they're making money in terms of people watching the content on YouTube that these famous people are doing. And this is a fucking interesting thing because it's almost like if you were famous, right? And I wanted to sell toilet paper, I could be like, hey, I sell toilet paper and you're a famous guy. Can you make a video with me about how you should sell my toilet paper? Now, all of a sudden, I'm the richest toilet paper salesman in the world, even though I have shitty toilet paper.
right. You've got a
Like,
good system.
and I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying that Logan Paul or any of these people who produce content about like cards and stuff, like the unboxing of things, I'm not saying that's bad content at all. I'm just
Right,
saying like
right, right.
in the if you were to look at it from the outside, like this is something I think about. I'm a wild guy. I think about some weird shit. Um, you know, it is what it is. Um, yeah, man. Anything else you want to talk about?
Uh, Yeah, oh, absolutely. But other subjects for other times. So I think this is a great point for us to kind of bring this to a close. It's been great, and we could ease. I'm looking at the timestamp now, and it's crazy how long we were able to have this conversation about magic. And even after we started recording again, it just blows
Mm.
my mind, and it tickles me pink.
Yeah, it definitely it gets my pecker hard. It's a callback. It's what we do as a comic. Anyways, brother, I love you. I will do this again with you at any time you want to. I'm more than happy to talk to you about, Magic the Gathering and nerdy stuff, even D&D. Like, why don't we
Absolutely, yo,
let's
oh
get
my
something
God,
going? Like,
AJ,
this is
oh,
something in the
AJ,
mix for our viewers
thank
right now. If you're still here listening to this, thank you,
you. Yeah.
first of all, for sticking by us. All right. And second of all, we're going to start making a lot more content, different stuff. It's not just going to be the podcast anymore. We're going to start putting other stuff out there. And really what dictates how and when we put it out based off of your comments and your reactions. Give us some likes if you like what we're talking about. Talk to us in the comments. We'll talk back to you. And what we want to do is make it fun for you. We want to make it as fun for you as it is for us. Because I
We want to
fucking,
share.
every time I do this, it's a lot of fun. And I know Pat feels the same. So
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
let's
There's
let's make a
we got a lot of
community. We're gonna make a Discord soon, so y'all can join that, and you can chat. All of our fans who enjoy the podcast can talk on the Discord when we're not live, or a podcast hasn't come out, and we'll interact with you there as well instead of doing it on Facebook or YouTube. It seems a bit easier. That's coming in the future. And again, if you don't like it, comment, and tell us, hey, fuck it, we don't want the Discord. We won't do it then.
right.
It makes it easier for
Yeah,
us, and we could just focus on giving you content. So
absolutely. If there's any opinions, anything input wise,
yeah,
good, bad, it helps, one way or another.
we're
So,
we're looking
you know,
for we're looking for it. A lot of people say it's going to take 50 or whatever 40 podcasts or 40 recordings to get kind of the tempo set for how you want to make a show. And I think we nailed it so far, and we haven't even fucking had what we're on 17 or 16 now. So
oh yeah, I've released ones. Yeah.
yeah, and it's only getting better. We got better sound equipment, and you know what? Listen, I'm not gonna keep you here any longer. It's good talking to you. It's good having everybody here supporting us. I see y'all in the comments. I see you guys subscribing. Pat does too. We're in this together. So fucking we thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's wonderful to have a lot of people. We can see a lot of numbers, and I love seeing that there is actively support. There's
Yeah.
people tuning in. It's wonderful.
I mean, we did this just as a project to, we were bored and we just kind of wanted to talk more. I live in Europe and you live in America. So it's like we did this as basically just to keep in contact more. And then we decided let's record it, and here we are. So again, guys, thanks for sticking in with us. That's another episode. We'll catch you next time.
You take care. Love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy. Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be told when the next episode is out. Peace.